There is a book in the world that says, in its very first line, that anything it could tell you would already be wrong. It was written over 2,500 years ago. It has fewer than 5,000 words in the original Chinese, and yet it has been translated more times than any book in human history, save the Bible. The man who wrote it, if he wrote it at all, was last seen riding a water buffalo west into a mountain pass, disappearing into the mist. Nobody knows where he went. This is a read-aloud summary of the Tao Te Ching, the Tao and the power, attributed to Lao Tzu, the old master, translated and commented on by John Minford. This book matters tonight because you are probably tired of trying so hard. And this is a book that says trying hard might be the whole problem. The ache it addresses is quiet. It is the feeling that the harder you push, the more things slip away from you, that the more you explain yourself, the less people understand you, that the more you chase something, a title, a calm mind, a better version of yourself, the further it runs. Lao Tzu calls this the loss of the Tao. His two main commentators, the river master, a hermit who reportedly floated 100 feet into the air to lecture an emperor, and Magister Liu, an 18th century monk who spent decades wandering mountains before settling in what he called his den of freedom, both spend their lives asking one question: what if the self that is straining to improve itself is the very thing standing in the way? The book moves in circles, not chapters. This summary follows 6 themes the text keeps returning to: the unnameable nature of the Tao, non-action, the power of water and softness, the wisdom of the infant, self-effacement, and the shape of a life well lived. These are not steps. They are one idea, seen from 6 directions. Part 1. The mystery that cannot be spoken. The Tao that can be told is not the true Tao. Names that can be named are not true names. That is the first thing Lao Tzu says, and the river master puts it plainly. Any Tao you can describe is already a reduced version, a method, a technique, a self-help system. The real Tao has no form. It cannot be named. This is not a riddle. It is a description of something genuine. The most important things in your life, why you love someone, what makes a piece of music move you, the feeling that arrives sometimes at dusk near water. These do not have proper names. Name them and they shrink. The Tao is the origin of heaven and earth, says Lao Tzu, the mother of the myriad things. Magister Liu explains it this way: when you look outward with desire and attention, you observe what he calls the outer radiance, the beautiful, specific, textured world. When you look inward in stillness, without wanting anything, you begin to sense what he calls the inner marvel. Both come from the same source, the Tao. The practical takeaway is uncomfortable. You cannot learn the Tao like a skill. You can only stop blocking it. And here is the thing that makes this opening strange and alive. A Tang Dynasty poet named Bo Juyi jested, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." So if Lao Tzu knew, why did he write 5,000 words? There is no clean answer. The book is aware of its own contradiction. It speaks anyway, hoping you will catch the meaning and forget the words. Part 2. Non-action and the shape of true power. Here is a question to carry with you. What would your life look like if you stopped trying to be the kind of person who tries hard? Non-action, in Chinese Wei Wu Wei, is the central practice of the Tao Te Ching. Both commentators return to it in almost every chapter. But non-action is not laziness. And it is not passivity. It is something more precise. The River Master explains it through the image of a bellows. The space between heaven and earth is empty, and yet when worked, it produces more and more. The Tao does not force things, and yet it produces everything. Magister Liu adds, hold fast to the center, forget words, nurture breath energy, be at peace with nature, with the so of itself, meaning the way things happen on their own, without coercion. In chapter 17, Lao Tzu describes the best rulers as so quiet and unobtrusive that when their era ended and the work was done, the people said, "We did it ourselves." They were not aware of being governed at all. You can feel this in your own life. The teachers or parents who shaped you most, were they the ones who pushed and directed, or the ones who simply were something, calm, honest, grounded, and let you find your way toward it? The second kind practice non-action. Their influence does not look like influence. The emotional weight here is this. That kind of power has no resume, but it endures. Part 3. Water and the victory of the soft. The best is like water. This is chapter 8, one of the most famous lines in the book. Water, says the River Master, flows quietly into the low places that everyone else avoids. It does not contend, and yet, solid earth collapses when water infiltrates it. Mountains crumble under a flood. Fierce fire is extinguished. Nothing in all the world overcomes water, says Lao Tzu in chapter 78. And yet, everyone knows this truth, and no one acts on it. The pattern the book keeps pointing to. Hard things break, soft things endure. A newborn baby has soft bones and a grip of iron. The forceful warrior meets defeat. Strong timber is cut for weapons. Magister Liu frames it this way. Soft and gentle is the gate of life. Hard and rigid the root of death. When plants push through the soil, their shoots are soft, burgeoning with life. As branches age and wither, they dry out and die. You know this in your body. When you are afraid, you go rigid. When you are at peace, something softens. The Tao is aligned with that softness. It does not mean weakness. It means you are still alive. The practical takeaway, in your next moment of pressure, notice when you harden and ask whether there is a water path, flowing around, flowing beneath, flowing into the low place that might accomplish more. Part 4. The infant and the return to before you were shaped. There is a counterintuitive hero in this book, not the warrior, not the scholar, not the sage with flowing robes on a mountaintop. The hero is the infant. Chapter 10 asks, can you concentrate your breath energy to the utmost softness? Can you be an infant? And chapter 55 describes the abundant inner power of the infant, protected from poisonous insects, from fierce beasts, not because it fights, but because its spirit is complete and intact. Magister Liu is startling here. The infant knows neither father nor mother, neither self nor other, neither inner nor outer. There is no me in it, no division. And because there is no division, nothing external can harm it. This is the Taoist version of what the Confucian philosopher Mencius later called the infant heart, the part of you that existed before the world taught you to be ashamed of certain things, to compete for certain things, to perform a certain version of yourself for others. Both commentators see self-cultivation as a return to this. Not forward to some improved future self, but back to something already within you that has been buried under layers of effort and anxiety. The open loop planted at the start of this summary. Can you catch the meaning and forget the words? finds its first answer here. The infant has no words. It has not yet learned to categorize things, to argue about things. And in that wordlessness, it is fully itself. Part 5. Self-effacement and the art of disappearing. Here is what the Taoists of old were said to look like. Hesitant, as though crossing a stream in winter. Melting, like ice at first thaw. Simple, like a block of uncarved wood. Broad as a valley. Murky as mud. This is chapter 15. Magister Liu notes, with some sadness, that many Taoists of today have lost this. They prefer to shine. The uncarved block, in Chinese pu, is one of the book's central images. Wood before it has been shaped into anything, before the carpenter has decided what it will become. Duivendak, a Dutch scholar quoted by the translator, describes the Taoists of old as not contrived or artificial, solid and authentic, like the uncarved block. They mixed with ordinary people. They were not aloof. Chapter 13 says, I suffer calamity from honor and rank because I have a self. With no self, there is no calamity. This is not nihilism. It is the observation that most of what makes us suffer is the story we carry about who we are and what we deserve and how we should be seen. The Taoist sets that story down. The 3 treasures of chapter 67 are the book's most explicit practical instruction. Compassion, I love the folk like little children. Frugality, I feel each tax I raise as parting with my own money. Self-effacement, I have no wish to lead or be first. These are not moral commands. They are descriptions of what happens naturally when the Tao is actually present in a person. Compassion rises on its own when you stop performing. Frugality comes when you no longer need to prove yourself with objects. Self-effacement appears when you are no longer afraid of being last. Part 6. The shape of a life well lived. Near the end of the book, chapter 80 imagines a small nation, not a utopia of grand achievement, but a place where the folk think their simple diet sweet, their raiment fine. They find peace in their dwellings, joy in their customs. The neighboring country can be seen and the dogs and roosters heard across the border, and yet the people grow old and die without ever feeling the need to travel there. The river master says, there is clarity and calm, non-action, no outward show. The folk do not covet the pleasures of others. This seems radical only because we live in a world built on the premise that you should always want more than you have. And then chapter 81, the final chapter. Trustworthy words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not to be trusted. The good do not dispute. The learned do not understand. Magister Liu closes with something that reads like a sigh of love. The 5,000 words of this book can be summed up in the word not contending. The Taoist accomplishes but never contends. The book returns, at its close, to the image it opened with. The Tao that cannot be named. The mystery of mysteries. The gateway to all marvels. And here is what both commentators agree on across 2,000 years. You do not need to understand the Tao to live closer to it. You only need to stop moving away from it. Stop filling yourself with noise. Stop sharpening yourself to a breaking point. Stop running past the low places where the water goes. Master Zhuang, Lao Tzu's great successor, said it simply. The fish trap exists because of the fish. Once you have caught the fish, forget the trap. Words exist because of meaning. Once you have caught the meaning, forget the words. You are lying somewhere quiet right now, with the lights low. The Tao that can be told is not the true Tao. So what, tonight, does the silence after these words feel like?